Okay, so elementary profile we have discussed yesterday. Let us go through it once again, real quick. So elementary profile of a gravity dam is, as we have said yesterday, it is in triangular shape, and this triangular shape will be similar to the hydrostatic pressure diagram of the gravity dam. That means if this is the dam structure, and the hydrostatic pressure diagram will be like this. It will be in triangular shape with zero intensity at top, and height of the dam is capital H, and base width is B. Okay, anyway, this will be the hydrostatic pressure diagram, and the force will be acting at a distance h by 3 from the base. Okay, this is h by 3, and this force is P. This is hydrostatic pressure force that will be acting at a height of h by 3 from the base. And as we have said, the elementary profile of a gravity dam is in triangular shape with no top width. That is, the top width is 0. Here, as we can see, the top width is 0. Here, water pressure is, the intensity of water pressure is 0. And also at the base, the width will be equal to small b, which is taken as the base width of the dam. And as we have said on the elementary profile, no other forces are acting except the weight of the dam and the forces due to water. That is, the forces due to water will be the hydrostatic pressure force and also the uplift force. Okay. So now we will be moving on to the calculation of forces coming on the elementary profile. Okay. So forces coming on the elementary profile. First is weight of the dam. As we have said, the elementary profile is triangular in shape like this, and we'll be having a this is uplift pressure diagram, and the base width is B. Okay. So base width is B, and the weight of the dam is W, and that will be acting at a distance of B by 3 from this point. Okay. That is because for a triangle, we know the weight will be acting through the centroid. Okay, this is a triangular section. So the weight will be acting through the centroid. And for a triangle, the centroid will be at B by 3 from this point. Okay, B by 3 distance from this point, and H by 3 distance from to the top. Okay. So the weight of the dam will be acting through B by 3 from this vertex. Okay. And also the water pressure will be acting through H by 3 from the base, and also the uplift pressure force is acting through, that is also acting through B by 3 from the base. Okay. Now we need to find out the forces. We know the P, W, and U. These are the three forces acting due to, that's weight of the dam, water pressure, and uplift force. So weight of the dam will be W is equal to, capital W is equal to half, that is a triangle, area of the triangle is half B into capital H, and we are taking 1 meter unit width of the dam. That is, this is 1 meter, therefore into 1. Okay, that is volume multiplied by the specific weight. Okay, that is specific weight is given by specific gravity of dam material is taken as rho, and specific unit weight of water is W. So W is equal to half BH into rho W. Okay, that is a force due to self weight. Next is water pressure. Water pressure is we will be taking it as, that is the area of the hydrostatic pressure diagram. That is equal to capital P, that is equal to half into area of hydrostatic pressure diagram will be triangular. To be triangular, it will be coming like this, triangular. Okay, which height is capital H and base is WH, that is specific weight of, unit weight of water multiplied by capital H. That is how we take the forces on hydrostatic force diagram. So half into area of this triangle, that is shown in yellow, is half into capital H multiplied by WH into, okay, that's it. Okay, that's equal to half WH square. That is a force due to water, that is hydrostatic pressure force acting at H by 3 from base. Okay. And self weight is acting at B by 3 from, let this be A, B, C. Okay. B by 3 from A. And now the third force is the uplift force diagram, that is U. Sorry, uplift force, that is U. It is taken as this. This is the uplift force diagram. Okay, and width is B, and this height is taken as CW into B. Sorry, CW into H. That is, we'll be taking this as a coefficient C multiplied by this value, WH. Okay, that is the maximum pressure due to uplift is taken as uplift coefficient multiplied by the maximum pressure due to water, that is WH. So it is CW into H. So area of that triangle is half into base into CW into H. Okay, that's equal to half CB, sorry, that's equal to half CWBH. Okay, so that's how you calculate these three forces due to uplift, then force due to water pressure, and force due to weight of the rock. Okay. Okay, next, what we need to find out here is the base width of the elementary profile. Okay, for that we have certain calculations. And first, to find out the base width of the elementary profile, we will be considering the stress criteria, and second, the stability or sliding criteria. So stress criteria is based on that for the full reservoir condition, for no tension to develop, the resultant must pass through the outer third point M2. We have told yesterday, or I've taught you yesterday, that the base width of the dam is divided into 3. Okay, 3 points. This is equally divided. Okay, this is B by 3, this is B by 3, and this is B by 3. So this is point M1, point M2. This M1 is known as inner third point, and M2 is known as outer third point. So as we have studied earlier, for no tension to develop in a gravity dam, the resultant R must pass through the base with an eccentricity E is equal to B by 6. Okay. And for reservoir full condition, for no tension to develop, the resultant R must pass through point M2. Okay, that is the condition. The resultant R must pass through point M2. Okay, this is sigma, that is the total vertical forces, this is the total horizontal forces, and this is the resultant R that must pass through point M2. Okay, so when the resultant pass through M2, we can say that moment about M2 can be equated to 0. Okay, so that is what we are going to do now. So that is, we are going to do the moment at M2 is equal to 0, and we will see how that is done. So first we have 3 forces here, that is forces are, this is P at a height of H by 3, then we have W at a distance of B by 3, and U at a distance of B by 3. So we are going to take moment about M2. For that, first let us take the self weight. Okay, let's draw it again, it's not clear. This is the elementary profile, and this is, so this is water force P, this is W, and this is U, and it's acting at a distance of H by 3, and these are B by 3. So now we have to take moment about M2, and forces are acting through M1, and this is also B by 3. So now when we take moment about M2 equal to 0, we have look here, half, that is first is a water force, that is half into P is equal to half into WH square. So P is equal to half into WH square, that is acting at H by 3. So the distance between this point M2 and the load P is H by 3. So half moment of that force is half into WH square into H by 3 plus next is uplift force. Uplift force U is equal to half CWBH, and it is acting at a distance of B by 3. So plus half CWBH into B by 3, both are in the clockwise direction. P is also imparting a clockwise moment at M2 and U is also imparting a clockwise moment at M2. Minus, there is a moment due to self-weight. So moment due to self-weight, that is now we are going to take the moment of this W, and W will be imparting an anti-clockwise moment about M2. So W is also acting at a distance of B by 3 from M2. So W is minus half BH into rho W into B by 3. Okay. So that is the equation that we get when we take moment and equate it to 0. Okay. So now we need to simplify this equation to get okay, that is by multiplying all terms by 6 by WH, or you can simplify it on your own with your own technique. So you will be getting the equation as final equation for base width as B is equal to H by root of rho minus C. Okay, so that is the equation that we need. That is base width due to stress criteria is equal to H by root of rho minus C. Okay, now moving on. Next is okay, and also when in the same equation and we do not consider the uplift, that is when C is equal to 0, uplift coefficient is equal to 0, we have B is equal to simply H by root of rho. Okay, actual equation is B is equal to H by root of rho minus C, and when we do not consider the uplift, we have B is equal to H by root of rho. Now next we are going to calculate the base width using stability of sliding criteria, and for dam to be stable in sliding, okay, for that the condition is the horizontal force causing sliding should be balanced by the frictional force opposing the same. Okay, that's the condition, and for that to happen we have the only horizontal force here on the elementary profile is the water pressure. Okay, this is elementary profile and this is the water pressure, this is water pressure P, self-weight W, and uplift force U. So we have the condition is that the horizontal force causing sliding should be balanced by the frictional forces opposing the same, and for that we have horizontal force P is equal to, we can write it as the frictional force opposing the same is mu, that is a coefficient of static friction multiplied by the effective vertical forces, that is W minus U. So this is the condition. And for that we have P is same condition is written here, P is equal to mu into W minus U, and we have already found out the terms for this P, W and U. Now substituting all those here, that is half WH square is the water pressure, and if our W is sulfate is half BH into rho W, and U is half CBW into H, and from which we can get the equation for base width due to sliding criteria as B is equal to H by mu into rho minus C. And here also if uplift is neglected, that is C equal to 0, you will get B as H by mu into rho. Okay, we have discussed until this yesterday, and now we will be moving on to the stresses developed in the elementary profile. Okay, until now we have found out the forces acting on the elementary profile, we have written the terms or expanded the terms P, W and U, and now and also we found out the base width due to two criteria, that is stress criteria and sliding criteria. And now we will be moving on to find out the stresses developed in elementary profile, and finally we will be deriving an equation for the principal stress. And so we have stresses developed in the elementary profile. For that we have normal stress. The equation for normal stress we have already derived in the previous classes, that is Pn is equal to V by B into 1 plus or minus 6E by B. Okay, that's a very important equation. And here we have V, that is a net vertical force, is equal to W minus U, that is self-weight minus uplift. And in our case, we have for the reservoir full condition, we have said the resultant is passing through the outer third point. Okay, so the outer third point, if we divide this base into 3, this is the outer third point, and the resultant will be passing through that point for full reservoir condition. Okay, this is the condition that we are having here. So if this condition is prevailing, the eccentricity will be equal to, this is E. E is the distance between the center, that the midpoint of the base, that is around here, to the distance, that is a distance between the resultant the resultant between the midpoint of the base of the dam and the intersecting point of resultant with the base. Okay, that E is equal to B by 6 here. So now we are going to substitute this value here. In this equation, we have Pn is equal to B W minus U by B multiplied by 1 plus or minus 6 into E is B by 6. That is B by 6 divided by B. Okay. So we have A 6 and 6 gets cancelled out, and B also get cancelled out. So Pn is equal to W minus U by B multiplied by 1 plus or minus 1. Okay. So that we have two cases here, that is for the positive case and negative case. So positive case, as we have said, positive case is a case at the top of the dam, and negative case is a case at the keel of the dam. So let us look here. For the full reservoir case, the normal stress is at top, that is Pn is equal to W minus U by B into 1 plus 1, that is E1 plus or minus 1, and the plus condition, 1 plus 1, that is for the case of the top. And we have, that is Pn is equal to 2 into W minus U by B. And as earlier, WU number നേരത്തെ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ച് വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. So substitute the value of W, that is half BH into rho W, minus U, that is half CBW into H. After solving or simplifying that, you will get the normal stresses Pn into WH into rho minus C. And for that, the corresponding stress at heel will be Pn into this negative condition here. Negative condition, that is W minus U by B into 1 minus 1, that is equal to 0. So for full reservoir condition, for no tension to occur, the resultant must pass through the outer third point, and the corresponding stress at the toe of the dam will be WH into P minus, it is rho minus C, and at the heel will be normal stress will be equal to 0. Now we need to find out the principal stress. It is principal stress at toe will be equal to rho 1 is equal to Pn into sec square phi. Okay, sigma 1 is equal to Pn sec square phi. ഇത് നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ ചെയ്തു വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. നേരത്തെ നമ്മൾ ഡെറൈവ് ചെയ്ത ഒരു ഇക്വേഷൻ ആണ്. And that is for the worst condition prevailing or worst condition that may occur for this dam. That is when full reservoir case. For the full reservoir case, the worst condition is when there is no tail water. Okay. The actual equation for sigma 1, നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ ഡെറൈവ് ചെയ്ത sigma 1 equation എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ sigma 1 is equal to Pn sec square phi plus Pn sec square phi minus P tan square phi എന്നാണ്. ഓക്കെ, അതിൽ ഈ പി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് വാട്ടർ പ്രഷർ, ഹൈഡ്രോസ്റ്റാറ്റിക് പ്രഷർ ഡ്യൂ ടു ടെയിൽ വാട്ടർ ആണ്. ഓക്കെ, സ്മോൾ പി, ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് ഹൈഡ്രോസ്റ്റാറ്റിക് പ്രഷർ ഡ്യൂ ടു ടെയിൽ വാട്ടർ. ആൻഡ് ഫോർ ദ വേഴ്സ്റ്റ് condition for full reservoir cases when there is no tail water, and when there is no tail water, this P is equal to 0. Therefore the principal stress at toe will be equal to sigma 1 is equal to Pn sec square phi. Okay, ഇനി നമ്മൾ അതിനകത്തോട്ട് ഇപ്പൊ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ച ഇക്വേഷൻ എഴുതുകയാണ്. sigma 1 is equal to Pn sec square phi, that is equal to WH into WH into rho minus C എന്ന് എഴുതി. ഇനി sec square phi എന്താണ്? sec square phi എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഇനി ഇവിടെ sec square phi ആണ് വേണ്ടത്. We need to find out the expression of sec square phi in terms of B and H, and for that we need to go back to our elementary profile here. In elementary profile, look here, this is the angle phi. Okay, this is phi, and this is capital H, and this is small b. So we have tan phi equal to d by h. Okay, അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് sec square phi we can write as 1 plus tan square phi, that is based on trigonometric equations. Sec square phi is equal to 1 plus tan square phi. Okay, so that is equal to 1 plus b by h whole square. Okay, so substitute that here. Here, that is, we have, that is equal to WH into, that we have sigma 1 is equal to, okay, this is sigma 1 WH into rho minus C into 6 square phi, that is equal to WH into rho minus C into 6 square phi is 1 plus B by H whole square. Okay, that is the equation for 6 square phi base using the terms of B and H. So we have now again from equation 8.26. 8.26 is an equation that we have derived earlier. That is from equation 8.26 we have B by H whole square is equal to 1 by rho minus C. Okay, 8.26 8.26 is the equation for base width from stress criteria. That is B is equal to H by root of rho minus C എന്നാണ്. Okay, അപ്പോൾ ഇതിൽ നിന്ന് നമുക്ക് ഈ B by H, that is B by H is equal to 1 by root of rho minus C implies B by H whole square എന്താണ്? Whole square is equal to 1 by, that is square of this thing, it's equal to 1 by rho minus C. Okay, അപ്പോൾ ഇനി നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്, നമുക്ക് എന്ത് കിട്ടി? We have ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ട് B by H whole square is equal to 1 by rho minus C. So substitute that here. Okay, substitute that here, we will get sigma 1 is equal to WH into rho minus C into 1 plus B by H whole square is 1 by rho minus C. Okay, now solving this, ഇതിനെ സോൾവ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ എന്ത് കിട്ടും? ഇതിനെ അങ്ങോട്ട്, after solving that, we will get sigma 1 is equal to WH into rho minus C into rho minus C plus 1 divided by rho minus C. So these terms get cancelled out, implies we will get the principal stress at tau is equal to WH into rho minus C plus 1. Okay, this is our final expression for principal stress. That is equal to rho minus C, WH into rho minus C plus 1. That is a principal stress at tau at full reservoir case. Okay. Now, next we need to find out the shear stress at tau. Shear stress at tau will be, we have the equation tau is equal to Pn tan phi, and this is also when P is equal to 0. That is tailwater condition is equal to 0. Critical or worst case, we have shear stress is equal to Pn tan phi. And tan phi നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ട്, tan phi is equal to B by H from elementary profile. So we have tau is equal to Pn. Pn നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ equation കണ്ടുപിടിച്ച് വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. Pn is WH into rho minus C. Therefore, we have tau is equal to WH into rho minus C multiplied by B by H. And B by H is also from equation of base width due to stress criteria. We can write B by H as 1 by root of rho minus C. Therefore, on simplifying, you will get shear stress is equal to WH into root of rho minus C. Okay, this is equation for shear stress at tau at full reservoir condition and considering the worst condition of tailwater condition, tailwater depth equal to 0. That is when there is no tailwater, that is a worst condition for full reservoir case. And tailwater എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ എന്താണ്? ഡൗൺസ്ട്രീം സൈഡിലുള്ള വാട്ടർ, അതില്ലാത്ത ഒരു അവസ്ഥയിലാണ് നമുക്ക് ഒരു ഫുൾ റിസർവോയർ കണ്ടീഷനിലുള്ള വേഴ്സ് കണ്ടീഷൻ കിട്ടുന്നത്. ഇനി ഇതുപോലെ നമ്മൾ ഇത്രയും ചേരം കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചത് ഫുൾ റിസർവോയർ കേസ് ആയിരുന്നു. ഇനി ഒരു റിസർവോയർ എംറ്റി കേസ് എടുക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ, when the reservoir is empty, the only force acting in the elementary profile is weight. Okay, reservoir empty എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ there is no water. Okay, ആ ഒരു കേസിൽ the only force that we have is W, that is self weight. And it will be acting through M1. Self weight will be acting through M1. അത് നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു B by 3 ഡിസ്റ്റൻസ് അതിന്റെ സെൻട്രോയിഡിൽ കൂടെ ആയിരിക്കും M1 ആക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സോ വി ഹാവ് മാക്സിമം കംപ്രസീവ് സ്ട്രെസ് അറ്റ് heel will be, our equation എന്താണ്? our equation is Pn is equal to V by B into 1 plus or minus 6C by B എന്നാണ്. And here V is equal to W. വേറെ vertical force ഒന്നുമില്ല. Therefore V is the sum of vertical forces. So V is equal to W. W by B into 1 plus or minus 6 into, and eccentricity is, as we have said earlier, that is B by 6 itself. B by 6 by B. Therefore, ഇതെല്ലാം cancel out ആയി പോകും. So Pn is equal to V by B into 1 plus 1, that is for tau, that is equal to V by B itself. And V is V by B into 2. Okay. So that is equal to 2V by B. That's equal to 2W by B. Okay. It's 2W by B. And corresponding stress tau, corresponding normal stress at tau will be, okay. Okay. Corresponding normal stress at tau will be the one minus, or the negative case, that is V by W by B into 1 minus 1, that is equal to 0. So that's how you calculate the principal stresses at heel and toe for full reservoir case and reservoir empty case. Okay, now we have completed the elementary profile. So elementary profile, as we have said, it is an imaginary profile. Okay. So next, what we are going to study is the practical profile. That is an actual profile that is provided for a gravity dam. And that is ഒരു actual profile എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, that is a practical profile or the dam shape that is actually constructed at the site. And that will be usually like this, in what you see in this figure. That is, it will be having a a top width, a free board, and there will be upstream projections, etc. in the dam shape. And that might be, or that will be required due to site conditions. നമുക്ക് ഒരിക്കലും ഒരു ഡാമിന്റെ ഷേപ്പ് നമുക്കിങ്ങനെ ട്രയാങ്കുലർ ആയിട്ട് പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. That is, the elementary profile is an imaginary profile. ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഷേപ്പ് ഒരു ഡാമിന് നമ്മൾ ഒരിടത്തും കൊടുക്കാറില്ല. We will always provide a top width and free board. And also ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു upstream side ഇങ്ങനെ projections കൊടുക്കാറുണ്ട്. Then its lines may be curved, ഇങ്ങനെ വളഞ്ഞും തിരിഞ്ഞൊക്കെ വരാറുണ്ട്. So that is known as the practical profile, or what we provide in the actual case. Okay, അതിന്റെ conditions ആണ് ഇവിടെ പറയുന്നത്. So that is, for the practical profile, it should have a roadway at top, then additional loads due to the roadway, then freeboard. Due to these provisions, the resultant forces the weight of the dam and the water pressure fall outside the middle third of the base. എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള പ്രൊവിഷൻസ് എക്സ്ട്രാ കൊടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എന്ത് പറ്റും? എലമെന്ററി പ്രൊഫൈൽ നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു, using middle third rule, the resultant must pass through the middle third portion of the dam. Okay. പക്ഷേ when we provide this roadway, additional loads due to roadway and freeboard, okay, etc. comes, there will be additional load, and there is a tendency for the resultant to pass through any outer, or pass beyond the middle third portion. Okay, ഈ middle third portion എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഇത്രയാണ്, അതിനകത്തുനിന്ന് പുറത്തേക്ക് ഇറങ്ങി പോകാനുള്ള ഒരു ചാൻസ് ഉണ്ട് എന്തിന്? റിസൾട്ടന്റ്. So that resultant may pass beyond this middle third portion. That is, middle third portion is a central B by 3 portion. അതിനകത്ത് നിൽക്കണം. Okay, resultant should be inside that B by 3 for that no tension to occur. But when we provide roadway, freeboard, etc., or any additional shape, the resultant may go outside of this B by 3. And to eliminate that, what we need is that we will be providing some masonry to the upstream side. അതാണ് നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞത്. ഇവിടെ ഒരു ഫ്രീ ബോർഡ് ഉണ്ടാവും, then ഇവിടെ ഇങ്ങനെ projections provide ചെയ്യും. That is, so to bring this resultant back to this middle third portion. Okay, so that is a practical profile. And according to Indian standard recommendations, the freeboard shall be 1.5 times the corresponding wave height. Wave height എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഈ ഡാമിലെ വാട്ടർ ഇങ്ങനെ അണ്ടുലേറ്റിംഗ് ആയിരിക്കും. അപ്പോൾ ആ വേവ് ഹൈറ്റിന് 1.5 times ആയിരിക്കും. യൂഷ്വലി വിൽ ബി പ്രൊവൈഡിങ് ദ freeboard. Okay. Now, next is the limiting height of a gravity dam and high and low gravity dam. Limiting height എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നോക്കാം, അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു particular concept ആണ്. So what we are discussing here is the limiting height means the maximum height according to this principal stress condition. Okay, the maximum height a dam can take according to this principal stress condition. So principal stress sigma 1 at O is equal to WH into rho minus C plus 1. And you can see here, rho is a constant, C is a constant, W is a constant. The only variable here is capital H. Therefore, the maximum value of this principal stress should not exceed the allowable stress. As always, for any structure, the maximum value of a stress that is coming inside that structure should not exceed the allowable stress for that particular material. So the allowable stress for the material that we are constructing here, let it be F. Okay. So F should be or F should be greater than sigma 1, or sigma 1, that is the principal stress that may occur in the dam, that should be less than the permissible stress F. So for the limiting case, let us equate F is equal to sigma 1. Sigma 1 equation is so F is equal to sigma 1 is equal to WH into rho minus C plus 1. Okay. So we have from this capital H, that is height of the dam, limiting height is equal to F by W into rho minus C plus 1. Okay. So this is the equation for limiting height of the dam, F by W into rho minus C plus 1. And when uplift equal to 0, we have H is equal to F by W into rho plus 1. Okay, this is the equation for limiting height when uplift is 0, and this is when uplift is considered. Okay. Now what we need to understand is that the height of the dam is more, when the height of the dam is more than that given by this equation, the maximum compressive stress will exceed the permissible stress. Okay, when the height of the dam is greater than, when height of the dam is, when H is greater than F by W into rho plus 1, the problem is that maximum compressive stress, let it be sigma max, it exceeds F. Okay, that is not desirable. Okay, so in that condition, we can say that the limiting height defines the distinction between a low and high gravity dam. That means for a low gravity dam is a dam which is having a height less than the limiting height. Okay, a low gravity dam is having a height less than the limiting height, where H is equal to F by WH into rho minus C plus 1. Okay, so when height of dam, let it be small h, when actual height of the dam that we are providing, when H is less than capital H, it is known as low gravity dam, and when H is greater than capital H, it is known as high gravity dam. Okay, high gravity dam and low gravity dam additional classifications. If the height of the dam, okay, now as we have said, when the height of the dam considered is more than that given by the equation, that is this equation, the dam is known as high gravity dam. And for, actually that is an undesirable condition, and for such dam, the section will have to be given extra slopes on the upstream side. Okay, here as we can see, this is an upstream. Here shape in the mari, upstream extra upstream projection should be given, so that the compressive stress comes within the limits. Okay, when we provide an additional section towards upstream side, the compressive stress decreases. I don't think you will have to go that much deep into the subject. Just understand that to decrease the compressive stress, what we need to do is that we will be providing extra size here. Okay, or like this. So that is profile of a low dam is the elementary profile itself, and profile of the high dam will be like this. Okay, so that is, now we have studied the high and low dam and limiting height, practical profiles, etc. And here we an example is given, that is for general case when W is equal to 1 ton per meter cube. Okay, that is 1000 kilogram per meter cube. That is the density of water, usual case. Then rho is 2.4. That is the specific gravity of concrete. If we substitute these values in here, taking F is equal to 300 ton per meter square, that is also usual value. When we substitute all these values, we will be getting H as 300 by 1 into 2.4 plus 1. So that's the usual limiting height. Usual limiting height, H limit is equal to approximately equal to 88 meters. Okay, this may vary sometimes according to the materials that are using, but the usual value is 88 meter. And when the height is less than this 88 meter, it is a low gravity dam. And when the height is greater than this 88 meters, it is known as a high gravity dam. And for high gravity dam, what we do is that we will be trying to decrease the compressive stresses by providing extra projections on the upstream side like here. Okay, so that's all for today. So now time is 2:46. Okay, let us stop today, and I will be having some more theoretical topic to complete that will be completing on the next day, or maybe I will provide you a video for that. Okay, and I will provide you the recorded session, this recorded video of this class also. I will provide that as a YouTube link. If you need, or if you have any doubts, you can go to the link and see the video again. And still you are having doubts, you can contact me. And now, okay, actually the module is not over. I have omitted some numerical problems related to this forces on the gravity dam and principal stresses. So we'll be doing that on Monday. Okay. And for B class tomorrow, I won't be engaging the second hour. So please wait, let me take the attendance and then you can leave.